Okay. Recording and sharing this thing. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, you'd mentioned you were moving stuff from 12.2 to 12.3. Wasn't going to make it.
Yep.
Sounds like that's already done.
Yeah.
These 15 too make it.
I think so. They're assigned and in progress, I think, for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to kind of come up with a good kind of plan that we can kind of document too. But part of that, I think, is at some point, we have to decide when, but I have to decide when those, at some point before we start doing the 12.3 deliverable and planning and stuff, I think we have to kind of understand what in 12.2 needs to move over. So,
right.
Not exactly sure when that should happen because, like we were talking about yesterday, the dates are kind of overlapping. So if we're still working on 12.2 for another week or 10 days, potentially, or I should say the work that we do for the next 10 days could potentially get into 12.2.
Right.
But we want to start thinking about 12.3 or whatever the future release is, last week or a week ago. It's like, we'll have to kind of think about, we don't have to talk about it right now, but how that overlap happens. And that's kind of what we were talking a little bit yesterday. And I'd like to kind of start documenting some of that. So maybe I'll write something up and create an MR that we can start reviewing.
Okay.
Okay.
But you'd gone through these issues and put deliverable for the ones that you think will make it.
And the ones, so Peter just added that first one. So first of all, just make sure what I did was okay. I took what was left in 12.2 and put it at the top of 12.3.
Perfect. Yeah.
Not sure that, I think for the most part that makes sense, but
yeah.
If those ones keep moving, maybe at some point we should revisit and say, we're never addressing this, and why is that? Is it just that much of a low priority or what? So,
well, sorry, the board, like this 12.3 column should be in priority order. It was in priority order when I last left it. You moved two ones over. They should move from the bottom of 12.2. Anything left on 12.2 should move toward the top and be considered a priority. So I think
okay.
Exactly
so that's what I did.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that sometimes with like different varieties of Scrum and things, that's a time that you'd want to revisit all of them and say, well, maybe this isn't as high a priority as some in 12.3 or something like that. So
yeah.
But for now, they should all be at the top. Now we can kind of walk through some of these.
Okay. So this one does not have deliverable.
Right. So Peter just moved that one, like, since I made that note. But it sounds like he's working on it. It just won't be done in 12.2. So it probably should have a 12.3 deliverable.
Okay. This one does not have deliverable either. It also might not end up, it's like an investigation. So let's just.
So I put a comment in here. Right, this one was because we weren't sure if we can even do it, if it makes sense to do it without doing it in a major release, and is the documentation enough, right? So what you just put there,
Okay, so then I am going to mark that deliverable, the investigation of the documentation.
That makes sense then.
Okay, go back to this.
Okay.
And then
that one is deliverable, I think. Yep.
Okay.
So this PG bouncer exporter, I'm pretty sure this should be deliverable. I was just trying to capture more information. And then as I dug into it a little bit, it looks like we did some service discovery stuff for, maybe it was for console itself. So I think my hesitation with deliverable on this one was just that I wasn't clear exactly what work needed to go into it.
Yeah, let's look into it.
But there was, I put in a comment, there was a similar issue right, because the description wasn't super specific, at least enough for me to really understand. But I did find a related issue and merge request in this comment. So I think, thinking more about it after I looked at that related 57379, I think it's the same thing, but for a different service. So.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask Drew and Ben.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, as you're typing, I think Drew created the merge request I had linked there, but.
Let's do that.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I'd really like to not be in this position where we're walking into a release having, no idea of what those issues are. And the ones that are coming from self-managed scalability working group, I would hope some of the members can help us.
Yeah, and I noticed a lot of those issues were lightly defined, we'll call it, which was probably enough for someone like Ben to tackle. It probably was plenty of information for him that just remind him what needs to happen. But if the APM team is going to be working on them more, then they might need a little more definition. So.
Okay. These ones all had deliverable.
Yep.
This one I would really like to see. I mean, it's a rename, but it causes some confusion. So to the extent that we can, it's been missed a number of times.
Yeah, that one, right. And that one, just, I think it's deliverable with the caveat that there were some comments in that one about, should we even have a GitLab monitor / exporter project at all? Is there some performance things? But just the rename part of it, I counted as deliverable, and I put a comment in there to that effect.
Okay, cool.
And if there's other follow-on things about improving performance or anything, then we can address that in separate issues.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Let's see.
This one is not marked deliverable.
Yeah, let me try to remember why. My gosh, I just went through all these. I'm trying to remember.
I don't think this is
what was I thinking? Oh,
yeah. Let's close this. I think this is duplicative. I understand what
that's
this.
Why. Yep.
Yeah.
Because so we have another issue linked there. So, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that's basically getting metrics into the new self-monitoring project.
Correct. Yeah. Previously and by default, and that should obviously be added. Okay.
So just as we're going through this, just some kind of a meta thing here. I mean, there's 45 issues in this list, which seems like a lot. So
yeah,
I'm glad we're kind of going through it. Okay. Okay. Documentation.
I would like to see this one. So.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. I'm trying to remember if I must have moved it. I probably just missed over this one. Okay.
Actually, no, so there's no, I'm going to push this out. We asked the user, like, what specific pain point were you experiencing, and didn't get a response.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for...
Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it in a non-milestone specific one for now.
Okay. And just a process question too, if they're, like this one seemed to be like updating docs. Is that something that typically the engineering team would do? Or I know we have, a technical writer team.
Yeah, the comment that we kind of talked about this in the staff meeting yesterday, but my starting point is product prioritizes issues, and if one of those issues is a docs issue, then you as the engineering manager coordinate resources, and if there is a docs writer available, great. If there's not,
okay,
should have a engineering team member complete the docs.
Sure, that totally makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
And I know some of it really depends on the type of documentation too. Some of it will go a lot faster if someone on the engineering team writes it up and maybe is reviewed by the technical writer or technical team.
Like, so
it depends.
The process is always that, keep that in mind, that an engineering team member who submits a docs update, as I understand it, it has to be reviewed and approved by the technical writing team.
Okay.
That's always going to happen. It's just a matter of we've been waiting to assign them to a member of the technical writing team, and that we shouldn't slow down for that.
All right.
Bunch of bugs.
Front end one, that authentication for Jaeger, I think was the next one.
Okay. Oh, wait, no, this one was.
That was marked as a deliverable.
Yeah. And that is a prerequisite for the iframing of Jaeger.
Yep.
Use soft timeouts for unicorn requests.
I'm trying to remember.
It's a backstage issue.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember why I skipped this one.
Well, Israel's asking if we still need it. I'm going to move it out. Oh, wait, you changed it.
I think this was in 12.2.
Bumped it down. Okay.
Moved it over this morning. That's about the right time frame.
I'll just close it and Ben can comment if it needs to be backed up on.
Okay. Hey, sounds great to me.
Okay.
Good. Then
that's deliverable. It's deliverable.
We're almost to the end here of the ones I marked as deliverable. Let me make sure that's right now.
So yeah, this is the end of what you marked as. So, okay, yeah, sorry. Do you want me to keep going and just, we can talk about it, or are you suggesting maybe
okay,
some more deliverables?
There potentially could be a couple more. So it's hard for me to know like where the cutoff is and like what's deliverable, what's stretch. Based on the conversation we had yesterday about like deliverable should mean almost positive that we're going to deliver it. I tried to put in about the same number as we've been of issues as we've been doing. That we've been resolving. That said, we have more engineers now. So hopefully we'll be delivering more and more each milestone. But I mean, it's hard to promise anything. I don't want to like, oh, there's one down there that's deliverable.
So one that I would really like to see is this one, enable source controlled alerting.
Yeah, okay.
It's also relevant to that dog fooding conversation we had. Yeah. It would enable that team to start dog fooding. So can I move that to the kind of like lower bits where we still had deliverable? It's way up here. And the other.
Okay.
Sorry, gotta keep going up.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah, I would.
One second, I'm gonna do a little bit of filtering here in a second.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh wait, support. Are you dragging the right one? Support alert on multiple metrics.
Oh no, damn it! I switched the grabbing of it.
Yeah, I'd love like some way we could like I think there was I saw somewhere a way to kind of redesign the card a little bit to make it a little more streamlined, but
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be nice to have like a thin view just for this very specific case of like, okay, I want to see more with less detail.
So where was that one that is called? Enable source controlled learning. There we go. I just dropped it in the wrong place. Okay, let me do one quick sort here. So I'm gonna scope to just the ones that are deliverable. That is 17 items. Okay, and then I'm going to scope to just the ones that are direction. So this one, I'd like to, can I just add deliverable to this one now?
Yep.
Okay. And then this one I would, well, let me see. This one I would love to do.
Okay.
As there's a whole set of like continue to use monitor features for self-monitoring project once we have the project.
Yep.
The next thing in my list on that one is this one. So if Ruben delivers this, if this is in 12.2, then I would want this to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my worry. Or when I started moving the 12.2 ones, is like a bunch of those got pushed out and a few of the bugs got kind of pushed down.
That's fine, but it's just the reality. And
yep.
back and go look through and say which ones can we swap out. So I'm going to add this one, and then when we review the ones that are listed as deliverable,
okay,
stuff out, we can do that. Let me look at the rest of the direction items. These are all support for other chart types. I'm okay with those.
Yeah, and some of those front end ones, I'm not exactly sure how much capacity. I can work with Adriel on that, though.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if Adriel has some insight into what
I've been mostly, yeah, exactly. There's not many front end ones with direction, though. I know at one point he had gone through and applied those.
Okay. Okay, so the other thing I want to just check is these missed SLOs bugs one. Oh, we only have one. That's beautiful.
That's good.
Bugs, and it's scheduled already, so that's perfect. Let's look at just bugs in general. So S3, S3, S4. Here's an P2. A couple of P2s without deliverables.
Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, those are the ones that I would want to move up higher. This one already has deliverables, that's good. So the other P2s without deliverables, I'm just going to move them up to this area with the deliverable ones.
Nothing else you need from me? All right, I'll let you get to it. Oh, yeah.
And this one should be higher. So,
all right, I'll let you get to it.
Kubernetes pod logs feature fails for pods with greater than one container. This is a documentation update.
Okay.
I remember the discussion about this. It will always fail, but we don't describe that in the documentation that it only supports one container.
That's right. Yep.
So can I add that one as a deliverable? The other one I'm okay with. This one,
trying to remember. I know I looked at this one. I think this one
When a
was
correctly defined project dashboard is committed to a project and loaded from the metrics dashboard, the charts do not render. Yeah, this is probably also prohibiting us from flipping the feature flag, right? Yeah, this one needs to be scheduled this release too. Okay. So I'm gonna add. I think if we do those, we're good. And so
okay.
Maybe let me go back through and parse. Okay, let's do this. We've got 10 minutes. I want to parse the whole list, see if there's something that's included in deliverable that I could live without.
Sure.
So this is a follow-up required for its deliverable, or is it just?
So this one's kind of so it's a little different because the health team, Peter, is working on it, but it's an APM issue.
Gotcha. Well, if Peter's working on it, it shouldn't be group APM.
Right.
So
maybe we
off the board immediately if I just move it to group health.
Yeah.
Because remember, group is not about where the functionality exists. It's about
who's working on it, right? Okay, good.
Okay.
Right. So, and I think he has something in progress. So.
Okay.
But
yeah, I mean,
regardless, if it's he's
review.
working on it, then we don't have to think about it.
Okay. This one, it's for the self-managed scalability working group and has a customer label. So I want to keep that one. Remove deprecated Prometheus metrics from the docs. That would be good. Yeah, this is just a front-end bug, not a P2, but a super annoying front-end bug.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this one could move out.
Okay.
Okay, so the other thing I just want to check, I feel like if I look at how many we have, so again, I don't want to be the like jerk product manager who says, but you're saying this is like you're comfortable, but I will have some other items beyond that we would have called stretch before.
Sure.
Might also get worked on. Okay, so 18 seems reasonable. There's a mix of direction, bug, self-managed scalability, working group issues, prioritized. Okay, so one thing I want to check is the what was I going to check? The customer label and an internal customer label. Oh, that bug's just not triaged yet. It needs to get triaged, but.
Okay.
This Datadogs one is the only.
Right, and that one, I removed deliverable from it while we were talking because it was pretty low on the list and I thought I missed it, but.
I mean, we just had the group conversation. I said our highest priority is dog fooding.
Yeah.
Dog fooding this. I'm okay moving it out, so I'll do that. Actually put that here.
The nice thing about that one, when we get to it, is Adrian on my team used to work at Datadog, so he said he can dig into that one when we get to it.
Let's see if there are any internal customer.
I don't remember seeing any.
None. Okay. Okay, I'm good with that. And just
Okay.
I'm going to filter to direction to see what I would put in the kickoff document, which will be direction and deliverables, source controlled alerting, next steps on configuring the self-managed instance, and this support for computed metrics. I think that's good. I think that's a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
And then these would kind of be, these next direction ones I would put in stretch, but I will, what's the best way? Should we move everything to 12.4 that's not deliverable for 12.3? Or should I put a handful of stuff in stretch?
I don't think we should move everything, because I think it would be nice to know at least what stretch. I think so. Yeah, I think labeling the next handful, however many we decide, as stretch might be worthwhile. Keep those in 12.3, and then move other stuff to 12.4.
Okay, I will do that. I will.
Okay.
How about I'll take 6, which is a third
Sure.
of the total one. I'll take the next 6 that I would prioritize after those, label them as stretch, move everything else to 12.4.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. And then, I mean, in the dream world, we'll knock through all of these, and then we can start picking off the top of 12.4. You know, we always have that option. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for.
This was helpful.
Yeah, it totally was. Thank you. Sorry it was a little delayed. I would have liked to have done this a little earlier. But now that we're kind of getting into the flow of it, I think this will go better, and then it will help me help the new product manager at the end of the month for future releases too, to kind of have this cycle down and kind of be able to walk through this like this. So it's super helpful. So thank you.
Yeah, cool. All right, I'll stop recording. Can I ask you one follow-up question? I created an issue, and I think I just pinged you on it, about the Elasticsearch investigation.
Yeah. Yep.
Could you just help me run that to ground? Because I don't know if Josh is going to be responsive. I don't know where we left that investigation, but it's my understanding that we looked into it in various instances, and I just like to use as much prior art as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
I just set myself to that issue.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is great. It's great listening to you talk about these issues. I mean, it helps frame up what we're going.
Yeah, there was that one, and then there was another issue too that is for 12.4 that needed some investigation. So kind of asked the team to kind of look into those. So thanks, David, for.
And thank you, David. How do I frame this? Like, I don't know if I should be scheduling investigations in the same way that we just scheduled 12.3. Like,
right.
It takes it takes David's bandwidth to do it.
Right.
And so I'm happy to do that. I wasn't suggesting it needs to start the investigation today.
No.
What I was trying to get a sense of is, like, is that an investment of an entire person's month to do the investigation, or have we already done a bunch of the investigation? It's kind of done. And
right.
Put a proposal for how we would do it.
We'll have to. Yeah, that's a good question, because if it's more than.
So basically, don't let it be a time sink, but.
Yeah,
time box it a little bit to say.
I was basically suggesting I'd love an investigation about this investigation issue.
Investigate how long the investigation will take.
Yeah, so like an hour of time to figure out, have we talked about this in the team? What's the current status? Is there documentation that's already created in a separate issue? That is really what I'm looking for, not go do the investigation in 12.3.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, cool. We got to jump to that other meeting. Thank you, guys.
All right. Yeah, thanks a lot, Kenny. Thanks,
All right.
David.